All right, we are here once again. It's 95X Live. And today, wow, five-time Grammy Award winner, multi-platinum artist. He's even got a Golden Globe to his credit. It's Jack Antonoff, who you may know best from the moniker of Bleachers. Jack, thank you so much for taking the time to do this today.
Yeah, thanks for talking to me. It looks like, are you at home? Because that looks cool.
I am still working from home. I
Looks
had
awesome.
to build a small set so that I could stay in touch with artists like yourselves and some of the artists here in our local community as well.
It's awesome. I love the vibe.
Very cool. Thank you. I appreciate that. Now, tomorrow is a big day because tomorrow, Take the Sadness Out of Saturday Night finally hits the streets. I know it's been a long sort of process for you. How great does it feel to finally have that record on deck and ready to go?
Oh, it's an insane feeling. I mean, you only get in a lifetime, how many times do you get days like these? 2, 3, 5 if you're lucky, 10 if you're crazy lucky. You know, it's not a normal or easy thing to put out an album. So it's you're kind of like, all right, here I am. You know, like a wedding day or something. Like, how many times am I going to do this?
Absolutely. Now, the single, Stop Making This Hurt, an absolute smash. Another in the laundry list of amazing songs from Bleachers. To me, you know, sort of like armchair interpretation, it's sort of like, in my opinion, an exploration of like the journey through dealing with like loss and depression and coming out the other end of it. Okay. And I think, you know, given the circumstances of the past 18 months in the world, I love that you bravely put this out there in the manner in which you did. It's a very honest song if you pay attention to the lyrics. And I love that.
It's kind of the only way I know how to do it is this sort of like little trick of the songs feeling joyous and hopeful, and then the lyrics feeling. I do it on purpose because if I didn't have like a twist in the music where it was kind of almost a little bit hiding how serious and intense the lyrics are, then they can become too cumbersome. But you know, it's always a reflection of what I'm seeing around me and what I'm seeing in myself, and this feeling of everyone carrying so much weight, carrying so much baggage through life, and which pieces do you get to put down and which pieces do you have to just take with you everywhere you go. And, you know, it left me with this feeling of I go through all my friends and family in the verse, Daniel and Jimmy and my father and mother. It's quite personal and literal. And I'm left with this feeling of stop making this hurt, say goodbye like you mean it.
I love the fact that you're willing to put yourself out there time and time again. And one of my favorite things about Bleachers is how you always seem to really be able to balance the anthemic nature of these songs with the dichotomy of catharticism. It almost feels like a great therapy session that ends on a high note every single time. And for me, I think that's what the overall like real mass appeal of Bleachers is it feels good because like the songs are so honest, and the language you use is the language that everybody thinks in. So it becomes sort of like this earworm to everybody's inner sort of id. I feel like that's way too like.
No, I really feel you. No, it's right on. So right where I'm living, where it's sort of like there's this joy and hope, and then in the same breath, there's this darkness and there's this anxiety and stress that we all talk through. And you know, music doesn't have to be very different from that. If you think about any moment of your life where you could feel so hopeful, and then 2 seconds later get so down, and then all of a sudden you want to eat lunch, and then all of a sudden we're always vacillating in all these different directions. And I've never wanted the music to do anything but reflect that there could be such a darkness in the lyric and such a hope in the music, and it could twist, you know, and it's meant to be conversational in that way. And it's kind of how I recognize myself and my audience best.
I think you do a great job, sir, and it's much appreciated, especially given how stigmatized a lot of mental health stuff still is, even in 2021.
Yeah.
You've put a brave
we're
face
just
on
at
it.
Just at the beginning of talking about it. And, you know, I write this stuff alone. I'm alone in a room. I see songwriting as like these almost like messages in a bottle you throw out to the world. And you're not looking for everyone. You're looking for your people who recognize what you're feeling, not to have the same experience, but just recognize something about the feeling, something about the sentiment. And so it is a way of finding community.
I love that, sir. Now, on this new album, Take the Sadness Out of Saturday Night, which drops everywhere tomorrow, there's a couple of collaborations. You've got Bruce Springsteen and Lana Del Rey on this record. They make appearances on Chinatown and Secret Life, respectively. Now, Lana didn't come as a surprise because you collaborated with her in the past. How did the collaboration with Bruce come about? Because that's an interesting one for me.
Honestly, just through being friends and playing each other records, things sort of materialize from there. You're playing things to people, and then you're messing around in the studio. It's always these really, with all my collaborations, incredibly organic, starts with friendship, and then always comes from this sort of, quiet permission you give someone to be like, hey, if you hear anything, go mess around on this. And, it's never like, hey, we should do this. It's always like, if it happens, just from kind of being in the room and hearing music together. That's why those records can work. And if they feel forced, they would never work.
Absolutely. Now, the laundry list of artists that you've worked with or collaborated with is insane to me. Taylor Swift, Lord, Pink, St. Vincent, Lana, now Bruce. Is there anybody left on Jack's bucket list? Is there anybody that you kind of got an eye on? Or
well, it's always that person I don't know. It's always that there's so many great artists, and you never know where they're going to come from, and not just a great artist, but someone who you could collaborate with and find that special, language with, where you can make something. Yeah, I'm always taken aback and surprised. And it's all about someone's future. You could love someone's music, but not be a good collaborator for them because you don't know where they're going. So it's hard for me to say, oh, I want to work with this person, but I can dream about imagining someone who I could just be in that conversation with.
Absolutely. And you seem, from all accounts, really easy to work with, very accessible and very open, which is why I think a lot of these big name collaborations happen. And I think in a lot of ways, just based off the fact that, like, I don't know that there's in the mass public, a real connection between your name of Jack Antonoff and Bleachers, that people make the connection. You've had all of these collaborations over the course of time as a songwriter, as a producer. In my opinion, sir, like, your name belongs on that list with all of those quote unquote big name artists that you've collaborated with. I think you are, in a lot of ways, sort of like the collaborator of this generation. I think you have this innate thing that you understand this generation in ways a lot of people don't.
Well, you're being really nice, and I will hear your words. They mean a lot to me. Things you kind of just, you do what you do, and then the way people take them in or separate them is kind of up to them. Every day another person's like, I can't believe you're you and you're in Bleachers, or find another piece, and that's cool. It's like, what's interesting about music is it hits people in different ways, and there doesn't need to be context. If you could be at the grocery store and hear a song that could knock you over in your steps, and it doesn't matter who did it or where or how. And so sometimes I really like the idea that some people know me from here, some people know me from there, but they might be hearing something that they don't even know is me.
Yeah, and to me, I think that's part of the mystery, so to speak, of what's still to come for you and your career arc. Now, with the new record coming out, is the tour still on? The Shadow of the City, which is supposed to start September 11th in New Jersey, at a festival that you've curated.
The tour's on, and it's kind of like all things these days. We're just clocking it day by day, and last week everything felt different. This week it feels different. Next week it'll feel different. And
yeah,
look, everything's fragile right now, and you can. That's tough, but it's also, hey, if you do get to go to a show and you can do it safely, then let's play that show like it's the last one we ever play, and let's go to that show like the last one we ever go to. And that's where we're at, and that's going to be, like all things in life, something that we could draw a lot of inspiration and growth from, or something that we can let take us down.
Very cool. Now, speaking of live performances, you, as Bleachers, were the first full band that was welcomed back in studio for Jimmy Fallon back in May. How was that?
That was amazing.
The first band back.
Beyond surreal. It's already surreal enough to be playing on TV. It's a hyper intense atmosphere. And so, the first audience we played to was 100 people in Jimmy Fallon's studio and the Roots. Those were the people standing right in front of us. And we played, I've never played a show that I didn't play like it was the last show on earth. But somehow, kind of like that metaphor about the gas tank, and when it goes empty, there's that secret 20 miles. That's where we are. We're in that secret reserve of there's more that we didn't even know about.
Absolutely. Well, I, for one, can't wait for live music to start up again. The opportunity to see Bleachers, and I can't wait for this record to drop tomorrow.
Thanks so
Take the
much.
Sadness out of Saturday night, hits the streets Friday, July 30th. We're actually going to release this on Friday, so it's not tomorrow. It's today.
Today. The album's out
if you're
today.
watching this.
The album
Go
is
check
out.
it out.
I've
It's
been
everywhere you get music. Jack, again, thank you so much for
Thank
taking
you.
the time today.
Really a pleasure. And your home setup looks awesome. And one day in person, one day at the studio, one day at the show.
Well, thank you very much. I mentioned bucket list earlier to you. This was one I get to scratch off of mine today. So
Hey, man,
sincerely, thank you very much.
That means the world to me, truly. And thank you for doing what you do. It really means the world.
Appreciate it, sir. Take care of yourself. Everybody
safe,
go
Jeff.
check out Take the Sadness Out of Saturday Night. This is 95X Live.
See you guys. That
Take
means
care,
awesome.
brother. Thank you.
Take care.